Crit.
I'm Vi.
And I'm Donato.
And welcome to what's our podcast?
You
Island
guys,
Fever. Shit.
Welcome to Island Fever podcast. We have been running such a strong season 2, and tonight is actually our season 2 finale.
It is.
It's okay for you to stumble over.
Thank
it's okay,
you.
we got you. Community.
Exactly.
We're here together.
hold
And that's
No.
what our
And that-
episode is about, community.
Period.
Which brings us to Tree Ioane. Welcome.
Welcome,
thank you
Tree.
so
We're so grateful to have you here. Someone that is leading such incredible work, empowering, building others. And we are so excited for other folks to get to know who you are and
And to pop your
how
cherry.
and pop your podcast cherry.
With consent, of course. With consent.
This is consensual first times tonight.
Thank
Yes.
you,
Yes.
Tree.
I feel like I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, so I appreciate so much that y'all invited me into the space. Thank you.
No, thank you for coming through. And we haven't known each other long for the record. Like,
Yeah.
me and Tree just met, I want to say, less than a month ago, right?
Yeah, it had to be less than a month ago because we were only like 3 weeks away from the Big Brother finale.
Oh,
we were-
we are Big Brother fans, by
I
the
know.
way.
I had to say it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We didn't make it far. we didn't make it far before it came up.
But yo, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you grew up, where you from?
Oh, okay. Well, I grew up a little bit in Washington State, and I also grew up the rest of the way in Southern California. Pretty much just a few other places up and down the West Coast. But yeah, I'm an artist, a writer, a creator, a community member. I'm a lot of things. I don't even know where to go with it.
No, wait, so
Thank you.
I remember the first time I met you and your family.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, the Pacific Northwest, because Donato spent a lot of her time there. I was like, oh, it's pretty progressive up there. And you were like, oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
Because you'd be familiar. Whereabouts in Seattle, well, close to Seattle did you grow up?
No, so for me, we were on the other side of the state. So that was Spokane. So that's closer
Which
to
is
Idaho.
very conservative. You're on the
Very.
border of Idaho. There's
Sure
also
is.
like Montana, like a
Really?
lot. You
Yeah.
drive through there, you see Trump like flags. There's a certain vibe. I remember the first time I crossed the border from Spokane into Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and we went to Winco, and I was with my niece, mind you. We both had that look to each other to be like, there is no person of color.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
There was
Everybody sees you.
one other, and we were staying at this really fancy resort called the Coeur d'Alene Resort, and there was one other like person of color that we saw the entire week that we were there, and like even when we saw each other, we connected. We had that look like, girl, I got you.
Do you learn the whole, like, what is it again? Do you know the hand? Like, if you need help, you got to do the...
Like blink twice if you need
Yeah.
help.
Like, that kind of-
I do it.
that's it.
I gotta learn that. I haven't heard about that, but I
Yeah.
just feel like we have an unspoken language
Yeah.
within communities
Yeah.
to signal
Yeah.
whether or not a situation is safe or good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know that particular. I'm not learning in that one, but I just feel like we have a look.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have a
Mine's
look.
just
coming
a-
at each other. See, I understood what that meant. Yeah, totally.
I feel like that I experienced that a lot when I first went to college.
Yeah.
Like not meeting another Pacifica person until I think my third or fourth year. And it was a Tongan girl. And I remember like we're walking and we both looked at each other like, I know you one of my people. Like it was just like a magnet, right? Like, oh, I'm so fucking happy to see you. Like that kind of thing. Yeah. More of like a
Yes.
pleasant, not a get me the fuck out of here. Are we safe kind of look. But yeah, I love that about us.
But I know we've all met, like, some of the people who want to be the only one there, too, right? Like, I was like, oh, but you just walk right past me. Oh, okay, I see how it is.
Why do I feel like it's Samoans who are the worst
Oh,
at that?
fuck the Samoans
Okay,
are
you
the
know
worst.
what?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I love
I
my
am
people.
guilty for sometimes being
Yeah.
like, please don't
That
talk to me.
shit, yeah.
Like, and that's not because I don't want to build community with you. It's just
Yeah.
like I'm the type of person, I like to be very intentional with how I talk to people,
Yeah.
uplift each other, give them
Yeah.
the energy I feel we all deserve. And there's just times where I'm just trying to go to the fucking store and buy milk. Like, leave me alone. I'm that type of energy. Everybody wants to talk to me. I'm like, bruh, I don't have it in me right now. Please just don't look at me. I'm like,
I'm different. I used to get so excited when I used to see Islanders in
Yeah.
the States, especially, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see many, especially around these parts, like around Hollywood and that.
Yeah.
But then, as you start to learn how much of our community is conservative, now I'm like, oh, I'm not fucking trying to say hello to nobody until I know what they're about. You know,
Right.
like I'm like,
Right.
I'm not. I don't give that automatic like, hey, what's up? Like, come over.
That
I'm like,
inviting
let me just
energy?
figure out where you stand.
Mhm.
You know, like, let me see who you voted for, who you posted. Like,
Tree, what kind of person are you? Are you the inviting, like, see me so I can see you, or are you the, ooh, I'm just trying to buy the milk person?
I'm definitely depends on the day,
Okay.
and I'll read their energy as best as I can, because I'm
Yeah.
like, you know,
Fair.
because I'll do my best to be like, I'm somewhat approachable on a day that I'm feeling that. I'll be like, you know, you can say hi. Like, I'll be like, I'll see him and I'll like,
It's unspoken.
you know, like,
Give a moment.
hey, and I'll see, like, you know, but and if they want to say hi and like be like, I didn't know more Islanders were over here, because that's the part too, is like I've lived in places mostly
Yeah.
that don't have Islanders there, like except for when I was in Long Beach, and then that is like a chunk of my life where I met Islanders in college, but
Yeah.
it was my first year. It was like my second week, and I was on the city bus, and I was going to school, and the president of the Pacific Islander like Association at that time like saw me and like beeline for me, and I wasn't ready. Like I was like, I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
And she was so friendly. She was like, hi, excuse me, are you Pacific Islander? And I was like, yeah, I'm Samoan. And she was like, me too. And she does her
Wow.
whole spiel.
Aw.
She was like so welcoming. So I was really fortunate in that. Like,
Yeah, I
then
love
I got
that,
to
yeah.
meet more Islanders like that and have like a little network started just in my
Right.
first year of college. So 18 years old, that's like a good spot.
Yeah, and that's what I really wanted to talk about. You know, focusing on community, and you know, given the work you're doing, just in general, what has everyone's experiences been with community? Whether it's like finding it, or searching for it, or building one.
I feel like for me, community is wherever I am. I feel like I'm the type of person in community that is a weaver, a storyteller, can be a disruptor, is a visionary, is a make shit happener, right? Like I sit around and figure out like, what is it that we need? How can we do the thing? Who do we bring to the table to get us like from where we are to where we want to be? And how do we care and nurture each other throughout that process, right? Like one thing people have recently been like calling me is like the vibes curator. If you've seen my recent social media, I've been like,
I
I'm the
love that,
vibes
really.
curator. Like,
Love it.
why? And they're like, because you just always make people feel good. And I'm like, if that is what our mafuanga calls for right now, is just like a feel good, especially in times like this, I'm happy to be that, right? But also no, I'm gonna bring story. I'm gonna bring connection. I'm gonna bring intention, and then sometimes too, I will step back when I need to. I don't like to be someone that hoards power and resources. I always think about ways to push that out. And part of how I do that in my work, and I always say like, I don't need the accolades. I don't need the position. I don't need the fancy titles. I've held those things. I don't like it. When it's centralized too much, I'm like, it doesn't feel good. And I try to find ways to empower others into positions of leadership with values that are rooted in we all go together, as opposed to how am I gonna take and take care of just myself, because it's never been about me. It's always been about us. And that for me is what community is. So anywhere I go,
Sheesh.
community here, community there.
Casually. It's like vibes curator, like through and through, though, because you know you talk about it in a social aspect, but also it's like that's like for life. You know, you're wanting to help like set people up and help like assess. You're doing needs assessments like constantly. You know, so when you talk about being an intentional person, it makes sense that you would be like a vibes curator, because it's like that's what people are feeling. They're feeling your intention and the spaces you set and the people you invite and the energy you bring, you know. So that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
So I'd say if I'm talking about my life in like a few chapters, I'm in my 30s, so we'll do like, you know, 3 chapters. Early
Baby
life.
face, by the
Hit
way.
me.
Baby face. Early life, we're talking very, very lonely. You know, I'm very much an observer, taking a lot of things in, a lot of like internal stuff going on. And the second chapter, I would say, was me more searching for community. That would be me, like, you know, in college, meeting more Islanders, joining organizations, and learning a lot of things like the hard way. When I left from Washington to California, I left without any of my family. And I finished high school out here. So that was a really intentional but also like trying time.
Big transition though, like
Yeah.
high school
And
and moving
your
away from
whole
all
life,
your
like,
family.
teenager is like
big
I'm still a
transition.
minor at that point. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
That's
To
why I
leave
was like
home.
kind of grew up in two places because
Sure.
I don't consider myself like an adult by the time I left Washington. You know, like I learned so much and I grew so much from like 17 to 30 in Southern California. You know,
And that was just your choice. You were just like, you know what? I want to go all the
I
way the
was
fuck to Long Beach.
miserable,
and-
you know, like I was miserable in Spokane, fucking Washington.
Yeah.
Like, you know
White
what
ass
I
Spokane.
mean? Like I'm like looking around and I'm like, there is not anything here for
Yeah.
me but trees and like nature and fresh air. Like, but other than that, like there was nothing there, and it just like kills you a little bit every day, especially when I didn't have examples. You know, I didn't know how to find people who could articulate my experience, and I wasn't close to my siblings who you know, they were all leaving and doing their own things, like going to college and stuff. And so
You're
I'm
the
like,
youngest,
I'm the
right?
youngest.
Yeah.
I am the youngest. So like that was a thing that I was looking at, like, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do that. We weren't talking to each other, like, you know. So the second chapter, was really me trying to find that community and making a lot of mistakes. Like, you know, it's kind of when you have that awakening, which I'm sure you can all relate to, like where you start to understand your identities and the ways that those are received in the world and why they might contribute to the way you're treated. I'm learning all this like socioeconomic stuff, and I'm like, this is madness. Like, you know, and then you have that switch where it's like, now I'm just furious, and like everybody's getting some, like everybody, even people who didn't
Nobody's
deserve
safe.
it.
Now
Like,
I see
nobody's
why
safe.
that thing is the thing and why it plays out that way, and it pisses me off.
Exactly, and I'm just mad and I'm vocal,
Especially
and
in
like,
Spokane. I'm sure there's a lot of examples of shit that will piss you
and
off.
by this time, you know, I'm in Southern California, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm bringing all of that experience. Excuse me, I'm bringing all that experience and like now finding words and like understanding what is happening, and I'm like, oh my God. And so, everybody, even people who were trying to help me, like people from the organization at school, like I feel for them because I was so critical, like everything. I'm like, this is not enough. This is not good enough. You know, like like the people, you know, like they didn't know what they were doing either. It's like they're like a few years older than me. Like the infrastructure was non-existent for student organizations, you know, especially Pacifica ones. Like, are you kidding me? So I was like, I learned a lot there in a hard way, and I feel for the people who experienced me at that time. And if I ever run into any of you again, we can talk about it if you want. I have room for that, you know. But I'm not gonna put that on you. You know?
But also I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, wanting quality or like wanting a certain standard, you know, of organization and things like that. Like I'm very fussy and I'm very particular about shit. And if I come into a space and I don't like what I'm seeing, and I know that, you know, and people are going to just not take any kind of accountability or not even try and listen. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with putting your hand out and being like, yo, like what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? So
I feel that. I do. And I like have grace for myself in that time while also wanting to have more grace for the people who were getting that energy from me. Because I'm like, you know, the president at that time is like, her life wasn't any easier than mine. Like, and why am I thinking that she can do anything more when like it's the system that's messed up? Like, you know, she's having a hard time because they're not supporting her. So like she's just looking at us being like, I mean, here we go, I guess. And we're like, I don't get it. Like this is not sticking. And so, you know, it helped me be critical. It helped me be critical of those things and understand what's important, and also learn a lot about compassion. And but that came later, you know, like
literally as you were speaking, Tree, I was like, oh my gosh, they have so much compassion now. Like I could literally feel it as you were expressing it. And that's the first word that came to mind, because you can tell that you have reflected a lot on that time in your life, and it almost sounds like it was a call in for you. Like chapter 2 was a call in, like we need to fucking check in because we're not happy with how we're resonating in these spaces that mean so much to us. Is that fair?
That's super
okay, because I don't want to be misinterpreting, but like I can feel it.
Well, I mean, I left school with like none of those friends, you know? And like you have to look at yourself in that situation where it's like a lot of them, like I'm over here mad, like everybody's clicked up, and it's like, okay, but like what are you doing though? Like, are you I feel
because I've been that person, and I still am that person in a lot of spaces, you know, where it's just like, how how do you not fucking see why this isn't working? You know what I mean? And I think a lot of the time there is a big herd mentality, you know, and I think sometimes it does take someone like you to fucking break the mold, you know, and really turn things around. And sometimes people just don't have that imagination, or they don't have that creativity or innovation to think beyond that, right? And I get it, like there's a certain way to deliver your message, and that's where I'm like, okay, I could have done better in certain ways, but I don't know. I just think, yeah, you can have a lot more grace for yourself, but also like, fuck them hoes. Like, you know, I'm also like, you know, there's so many times where I felt like I'm the only person pushing for a certain, like, just a certain perspective or a certain level of compassion for other people or certain protection. And it's just like, if you can't fuck with that, then you're gonna get it. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying.
But I feel like I've learned from you though that you come with action, and you know, looking back, I didn't always have that to back it up. So it's like, because again, how I can have grace for myself is I look back and I know what was going on in my life at that time. Like I know why I didn't have it, but I'm in these positions and I'm trying to pretend like I have it, and I'm looking at everybody else being like, well, you're supposed to do it, you know, here's all these big ideas, you know, and like, I'm like, I have all these big ideas and all these changes need to be made. But then I'm like, so anybody
do it?
Anybody, you know, you got it. Like, so that I can understand how that would also be frustrating. It's like, all right, you're talking a lot of shit, but what are you doing with it? Like,
you know?
Those are the people that I can't stand.
Like,
I am not the, let me name some shit. I'm the like, why you got so much to say and ain't nothing to fucking do with the plan?
You probably would call me out at the time. You've been like, and you are doing what?
But that's also the eldest daughter syndrome in me, right? It's like, I'm the delegator, but also like, y'all motherfuckers gonna contribute because I can't do all of this. And I ain't gonna do all of this.
I'm tired.
Right.
So where have you landed in chapter 3 so far?
Well, so that is implementing, you know, all of the things that we learn. You know, that's implementing accountability. That's implementing trust. That's implementing boundaries. That's implementing like everything that I come to understand of, like, you know, who have you harmed in this process? Who has harmed you? Work through that. Like, you know, it's really important because that's how you learn how to take on accountability. Because you're like, if you look at everything going like, well, that hurt me, which that was definitely me in chapter 2. I'm like, everything is hard and nobody knows, but I'm not saying anything, you know? Like, I'm not saying anything. And so there's just so much like nuance to that. And so now is just like implementation. You know, there's been a lot of planting of seeds. There's been a lot of organization and a lot of planning, and now it's time for action. Now it's time to like put everything that you have ready into practice, because there's a collective consciousness of people in this revolution, and it's time, and we're all feeling that. You know, and so it's like, yeah, all right, let's go. That's where we're at. Let's go. And here I am.
Okay.
That's so beautiful to hear you talk about.
Literally. Oh man, no, I really resonate with a lot of what you're saying, because I also am like, yeah, my relationship with community has been such an involvement. And specifically like in my work and deciding to, you know, open my practice specifically for Pacifica people was such a pivotal time in like my call in. I never really had that invitation to draw in community from my own people. It wasn't something that was safe and familiar to me, but I did have that with family. So the extension outside of family was like, for what? I have family, I have friends. But it really wasn't until I decided, like, holy shit, I want to start my mental health practice specifically for Pacific Islanders, that I was like, oh, I see my people in a whole different light. Because now I'm being exposed to the layers of pain, the cultural challenges, and like how many patterns we as people repeat. And also a big part of that from colonization. Like I had this insight that was just like unlocked, you know, in conversations with my parents and my grandparents, that I'm like, I felt so much empathy and so much compassion. And that's where the call was like, I gotta fucking do something. You know,
it's
and
you, bitch.
I'm like, oh shit, hello?
You're like,
oh God, I got you. Damn, I know I've been praying to use me as a testimony, but this is my testimony. Wait a minute now. And I think about community now is like, oh, I get chills, because I'm so grateful for community now. Like I am held down by community. Like I am celebrated and seen in ways that I hadn't even imagined. It's my wildest fucking prayer in reality. Like, the way that I have been able to touch so many Pacific Islanders when it comes to their mental health is off the backs of community. Like, I have to breathe because I'm getting hot. But I have to say that, and I have to give so much praise to the communities that see me, that celebrate me, specifically my people, because it lit something in me that I had never even experienced when I blindly walked into this work 10 years ago, when I blindly started my practice 4 years ago. Like, I had no idea until I allowed community to hold me. And the minute I allowed that, it was like, fuck, I could do this forever. We're going to be here for a minute. So long-winded, but I share that to say is like, my evolution and my growth with community is still growing. It's still evolving, but it resonates in a way that is like deep in my soul now that I feel, and it's passion and it's purpose. And I didn't have that, you know, and now I'm like, what a testimony to be doing this healing work specifically for my people. It almost was like a healing part for me, myself, as a young Samoan person. Like, damn. Yeah. Whew,
Okay, give her a minute.
It's emotional to talk about, but I'm so grateful to be able to like even just uplift this now, because I don't think a lot of people know that from me specifically, especially on my platform. I don't think I talk about that, but it's lived, you know. I hope that my work is a testimony of like the gratitude that I feel from the people who are supporting me, encouraging me, referring to me, or just giving me spaces like this to talk about what I do. So
I think it's so clear what your involvement is in community, but I don't think, I think what you're now articulating, that might not be so evident on your social media, is how much it has really inspired you, and how much it has, you know, like just energized you to go even further, you know, to take things to the next level.
You were one of them, Crit.
I know, but like
you're the first, one of the first people to like truly, and you know that because I've shared that with you, and you have that gift about like seeing people, and like when people can't even see it or witness it themselves, you have this gift of like finding that magic in someone and really bringing it, you know, just elevating it. And I swear you were one of the first testimonies to that for me. Like, yo, I got this live. Do you think you can hop on? Yeah, I'm gonna pay you. And like, I think you could really. And then as soon as we did our live, right after that, Kurt was like, you know, opportunity after opportunity, or putting my name in spaces. And like, I had never experienced being seen like that. So just so closely, so truly by community, like not only a Pacifica man, but also a queer person. And like, I say that to also love on you, because you were one of my first experiences of being seen. So I love you for that. Thank you for that.
When Crit sings your name into a room, people listen.
Okay. Yeah, you do.
And I think, you know, one thing that just really touches me about, you know, this podcast, you know, and just all the work that I do, it's because I haven't felt that sense of community, you know, growing up. In a lot of spaces we don't find that, whether it's in the schools we grow up in, or the cities we live in, and then even in our communities, you know, we don't feel seen or included. So like, I've always strived to create spaces, and I'm so fucking unapologetic about putting our queer and trans folk like at the forefront, you know. I think we all have our different styles of leadership, and mine has been very fucking aggressive, you know, in a lot lot of ways.
Passionate.
Passionate. Yeah, exactly. And I'm learning, you know, different styles, you know, different people require different styles. But I think that's what I take the most pride in as far as community goes. And for the longest time, you know, I was trying so hard to fit into different spaces, and you know, I resonate with everything everybody said. You know, when you're talking about chapter 2, I was really trying to fit in, like, how do I become a real Samoan or whatever, you know? And then the more you just feel comfortable, but the more you just feel comfortable in your own skin, you're just like, you know what, fuck, there's no one way to be anything. There's no one way to be queer. There's no one way to be Samoan. There's no one way to be a man, you know? And you just, that level of freedom that you get, and then you really do feel a sense of power. And then I really have just dedicated my time to making sure that anybody else can feel that sense of, you know, I can help start them on that journey, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you do.
And so it's been, it really is every blessing, like what a lot of people say, right? It's a blessing to receive, but it's such a blessing to give, you know, because you're receiving so much from that, you know? And I think for me, you know, working with the Nato, working with Vi, and now it's like I'm receiving a gift from your foundation, which we're going to talk about, and you and what your family's doing, and just like so many full circle moments, you know, that I've experienced with all of us. But it's so funny, like even experiencing you, Tree, and your family and your siblings, like we've found so many connections that, you know, that we didn't even realize we're out there. And it's like, oh shit, I might have crossed paths with your siblings like 10 years ago, you know, it's wild.
Wow.
So yeah, let's move on to that. Let's talk
Well,
about.
I do want to just add real quick, like one of my earliest memories of you, Crit, which also made me feel like much more safer in the relationship, was you had named, and I think I want to tie this to like there's a number of like people even within Pacifica and Samoan communities that are very conservative leaning, right, and are very conservative, just period. Right. There was like an event that was happening, and you had shared with me that you made it known to people within community that if you are not about queer liberation, trans liberation, Black liberation, then this is not the event for you. And I was like, okay, you're about that. You're about that smoke. Yes, I'm there. And then who's not here? Clock.
Yeah.
Clock.
Yeah. Right.
And I've always been so intentional. I'm like, Donato, you're gonna be at the forefront of this event, you know. And I've like always been very adamant, and it was just a no-brainer for this season, like who I wanted to have, you know, like as far as guests go, as far as my co-hosts go, like this is like when we're talking about dreams come true, like this is like my wildest dreams coming true, right? I wasn't even out like in 2017, and to come this far, it's just like, yo, so
what a manifestation.
yeah, exactly. So
While we're saying that, I'm gonna jump on the Living on Crit train because we were doing that a second ago, so I'm gonna go back to that. And like when we got to sit down with you for the first time and like have dinner and really just like meet you in person and take you in, and like you came in so vulnerable, and like we came in so vulnerable. Like we told you at the table, I was like, we were crying talking about like one of my siblings' therapy sessions, like on the way to our dinner, and we showed up like, anyway, Crit, nice to meet you. And he like came in like so like tender and just himself, and also like raw. And he was like, oh, if this is what we're doing, then this is what we're doing. And then as he like took the time to individually like look at each of us and like get to know, because we all showed up, we do what we always do.
Oh, y'all
was
roll
like
deep.
we roll deep. And I was like, you know, people who can't handle that intensity, is like we notice. And also it's like, you know, this is in love, and when you are somebody who's not threatened by that, you'll feel that, you know. So you came in, and it's also so validating for us, like the way that you came in, and we're just like, yeah, let's just like bring it in. And as you got to know each of us, like everything that we all told you about ourselves, like immediately we could see you just like beautiful minding it, you know. You're like making all of the connections, you're naming people, and you're going, oh, I'm going to introduce you to this person, I'm going to bring you to this room, I'm going to tell you that, like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Like already that was the first time you met us. Like you didn't like even fully know us or know what we about. It's like you did, but like you didn't. And there was just no hesitation, and that's so impactful to us, you know, as people who are now like in the part where we are opening up what we have established with each other to more people. And like that is something that's so vulnerable and so scary. Like we've tried that at the wrong times, and we have like hurt ourselves and hurt other people in that process, you know. And so we've taken like years of just building something together, and it was timing. It was like right on time. You like popped up, and we're like just starting to like, you know, peek open a door, and it was like, and what a beautiful place to step into, and to like be invited in, and to help us link with other like Pacifica adults who are like into doing the same stuff that we're doing. And it's like, yeah, let's freaking go.
Oh, and to your credit, like I was a fucking mess. Like I came in, I was like just having a fucking really bad day, and I was just like, but my thing was like, and we'll talk about the foundation, but like, you know, I was like, I can't not show up right now, you know, and I was like, whatever fucking state I'm in, I'm gonna go there, because like I'm gonna honor this time that you've taken to come and meet me. And I came in, I was just like, yo guys, I'm having a really bad day. I need a fucking, and I can't even hide it right now. I just want to be honest, but I respect you so much, and I'm just so grateful. You know, that's what it came down to. And I think I was just like, oh fuck, like the fact that y'all held me in that time, I was like, oh man, this is what I needed, you know. And it just and immediately I was like, oh fuck, I can relax, you know, and no one's judging me. I don't feel like I have to hold up any kind of pretense or you know, put on a show or anything. And then I was able to just be myself, and then I was able to actually smile and fucking laugh and joke, you know.
Yes.
And I was like,
You
it just changed my
yes,
whole
yes.
fucking night. Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it was-
And we're so grateful that you showed up in that way, because we all came because we knew, like, we felt like this is an important night. Like, we're doing something so important. And
Come on,
that's why we're
alignment.
all here, you know?
Yes.
And, like, we're literally at that table being like, all he has to do is get here. Like, I hope he shows up, because, like, we know that you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, we're,
Yeah.
like, being like, but you don't know us. So it's like, you don't know that you're going to be okay when you get there. But we're like, all you have to do is show up, because, like, this is so important. And you did. And,
Yeah.
like, that's such a beautiful thing. Like, everybody was where they were supposed to be. And then, look, and then I'm here.
And here
it's
we
like-
are.
And
And here we
Like, here we
are.
are. Like,
Right.
it's the vision
Yeah.
is impeccable.
Yeah, and
honestly.
I wanna connect that real quick. Like, you know, talking about community, building community, vulnerability, right, is this word that is often loosely just thrown out there into like the social sphere. But I want to encourage people to go deeper, is that vulnerability does require trust, right?
Yep.
And in order to be trustworthy, you have to be willing and courageous enough to trust
Yeah.
in others, right? So like hearing how this connection came about and the willingness to just like show up and give a chance is really what strengthens community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Because then when we can get past like whatever expectations we might place on ourselves or feel like others might have on us, we can cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just get to it,
Exactly.
dive in.
Yeah.
We're all looking for deeper connection.
Yeah.
We're like,
Once we
Seriously.
realize that truth,
Yeah.
how much, girl, you're gonna be so
Yeah.
liberated.
Yo, we're going to talk about how we built community in different ways, but I do want to get to talk about your community as far as your family goes and how you built that, because you fortified that relationship, you know, with your siblings, and then how you came to this foundation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially as the youngest.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Okay, but I would say that, you know, because I'm the youngest, you know, there was always this like inside pull of like, I just want us to be together. I
Yeah.
just want to be around y'all all the time, even when we're not like friends. You know, when I'm little and they're like, you know, like I'm just like, but together. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I think that that's why being the youngest is so important, because I'm
Yeah.
like, you can really have that innately, and it's like, and then you can just choose to hopefully like feed that. So I spent so much time just like dreaming about that, just being like, what would it be like? I'm like watching them sing and I'm like, but what if we were doing that together? And you know, and like all of this kind of stuff. And by the time I got to, you know, in chapter 2, and like there's a lot of like rocky things happening, I'm connections with different siblings. I have three older siblings, and connections with each of them are like kind of starting to like build a little bit, where like, you know, we might like talk a little more often. We might kind of make a joke about something our parents did, and like ways that we didn't really do as kids, because we weren't in an environment that was, you know, like encouraged or okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we kind of started doing where we're like, you know, the kind of relationship you have with your classmates, where it's like, yeah, I see you, and it's like, okay, we're cool, we
Yeah.
could like laugh, it's like, but you know, we're not talking outside of this. Kind
Especially
of like
when
that.
there's like different age groups, and it's like
Exactly.
that age group might be doing different things than my age group has yet reached the understanding of, and
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
older sibling. I relate to like those types of experience. My older sister, who's also trans, there were times within our upbringing where it was like, girl, stay away.
yeah, exactly.
Girl, stay away. We're gonna go smoke over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can't have you around.
We're
I
doing
was
big
like,
kid
but I don't
things.
want to smoke.
I just want to be there.
I just want to be
Yeah.
around you, sister.
Literally be
You're
just
the
in the corner
coolest
just
person I know.
and it's like, and it's hard for an older sibling to see that, because they're under
Yeah.
so much scrutiny, and they're just doing their friggin' best. And that's something I can understand better now, where it's like, yeah, y'all were pushing me away because you couldn't see what I saw. You know, like it's uncomfortable to receive unconditional love when you're in an environment that only shows you conditional love, and like, and you
Yes.
don't
Right.
know that that's what you're receiving. But then when you have somebody who wants to love you for nothing, even if it's a little being, you're like, it's, you know, it can be kind of like uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and maybe even repulsive if you're an angsty teen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it took a lot of planting of seeds, a lot of, like you say, a lot of weaving of like the experiences that I was getting on my own, and you talking to them and bringing them what I was learning, and us just challenging things together. And I'm making it sound really, really nice right now. But like it was not that easy.
Yeah.
Like, you
I'm
know,
sure it must have
everything I brought to
required
them.
rocking the boat and shaking some
Exactly.
shit up.
You know, I
Listen, the
bring
toughest
some-
fights I've gotten in have been with my sisters.
Okay. You know, I bring some. I'd be like, did you know that we are like this because of how our mom didn't hold us at this time of our life?
Ooh.
And then they're like, what are you saying? And, you know, we'll get into
Yeah.
it. And like things like that is like, okay, you know, it's easier to talk about when it's somebody else. But then
Right.
it comes to our individual accountability and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're doing a little much. And like that's where then the tension comes in. And you have to be willing to push through those moments because that's how you get to trust. It's
And
like
in
through
those moments,
accountability
though-
with my siblings is where we had to go.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
imagining like your siblings also retracting back to like their survival, right?
Right.
Like how they've survived the system of being under the same household with your parents and like it plays out in our adult life too, unless we take the time to unlearn, but that requires us to get uncomfortable, right?
Exactly.
And so I'm imagining like y'all are going through your shit. Maybe some of y'all aren't talking. Some of y'all are like, fuck her. She got fucked up energy. They got fucked up energy or whatever the case may be. Pretty much what I'm trying to highlight is like a lot of times we retract back to survival mechanisms because that's what's most comfortable for us. But then the minute we start to unlearn and realize, holy shit, this is not unsafe anymore. Tree's coming at this with a whole different persona than what I'm used to. I think I can exhale. Like, I think they want to hear me out. I'm not used to being heard out. There is this contemplation of like, are you safe? Are you not safe?
Yeah.
Oh, this feels safe. Shit, give me a little bit more and then I'll tell you if I'm fucking with it or not. Right?
Right.
Like,
Dip your
it's a
toe
little
in
dance.
bit. Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like that's also the magic of where repair happens is in that dance. And so some people, it's like, you're not going to learn the full 8 count if you don't break it down step by step. And we've talked about this before in my metaphorical language that I love to use, but like your siblings are probably also looking at you for the next move. You're looking at them like, what was the step after that? Right. So you're co-creating this dance of safety and harmony that is like brand new to all of y'all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautifully
Okay.
put. That was like,
That was metaphorical as fuck.
Visual.
Listen, I'm about to be a poet.
yes. Exactly.
My clients know I be speaking in metaphors all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, can you try that story one more time? Like, I'm like, oh, let me go back.
You lost me with the fishing hook.
Right.
Bring me back. I was like, okay, here we go.
Wait, Donato, have you experienced this? Like, and I'm not putting you out because I'm like,
Wow.
you're like, well, you know, I think we're both pretty good at manipulating. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I'm an expert manipulator and manifester. I
Right.
get what I want.
exactly. So, well, I mean, to that point, right? And in a lot of your life, have you come across people, and you're like, oh shit, can I trust them? You know, because you know how to fucking work people. And then it's like when they're bringing you something, it's like, what do they want from me? You know, and then it's really like, are they trying to play me? Are they trying to, like, does that come up for you a lot?
You know, I don't look for people to deceive me, if that's what you mean, right? Like, and I go back to, in order to be trustworthy, you have to trust people. I just trust everything's going to work out, that people are leaning in with the best intentions. And then if things go sideways, then I'll learn.
Yeah.
We can talk about it. I think I would be doing myself such a disservice, and I'd be doing a disservice to community if I'm in community looking for people to fuck up or cross me.
Yeah. See, I think
Right?
that's such a big difference between me and you, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I see the way that Donato is so giving to everyone, you know, like she gives everyone that opportunity. Whereas I don't know if it's age or just, you know, just being fucked over a lot or whatever, right? I'm just very much like, oh, let me fucking keep an eye on you and I'll wait till you prove that you are trustworthy, right? So
Isn't that a lot of energy?
it's not because for me, no, because
that sounds exhausting.
it's not because it's not like I'm taking tabs. Well, maybe I am.
It sounds
mentally.
like you are.
Yeah, I think it's more like no, honestly, it's more like okay, like let's hang out and then I'll let your character kind of speak for itself, right? I'll let your actions speak for themselves. Until that happens, like we're cool, but I'm not going to invest or like I'm not going to really let down my walls the way that I would someone who I can see like is genuine in spirit first. You know, like I think I really have to feel that out first before I'm gonna be like, okay, this is a person I can really trust. Going back to like how conservative people are in our community, right? Like I really need to see first that you're not on that level before I can give you the benefit of the doubt. I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah. No, heard. And, you know, there are definitely people really, really close to me that are also conservative, right? Do I know that there's love in the relationship, right? What I'm trying to work on right now, maybe in this phase of my life with how things are progressing to a point where we as trans people are being even more policed and villainized, right? Is I'm sitting with the question of like, when I think about community, it's inclusive of you. When you think about community, I don't know if it's inclusive of
right.
me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I think that's
And
the
does that
role.
mean I change who I am at my core and at my essence? I don't think so, because I think, and maybe thinking like good versus evil, light versus dark, I want to stay in the light. I think I do my best work in the light. And if you give me the time to sit in a room with you, I will get you to transform and evolve in some way better than most people can.
I think that's
And I think that is my gift.
yeah,
Right,
and I think that is not my fucking gift. You know, that's not my ministry, and
Yeah.
I know that. And I think when we talk about each other's different roles that we play,
Yeah.
like that's your fucking calling, you know. And I know that's not my calling.
It sounds like you both carry that awareness and you both carry that knowing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's important. It's self-preservation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
what you do with that information looks different.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's important to have both of those people. I
Yeah.
think it's an
Yeah.
important balance to have the
Yep.
people who are willing to be like, absolutely not, we're not doing that, and the people who are like, you know, let's give it a chance, let's bring them in. I think that's essential, and that's a really nice, you know, partnership you have in that.
Yeah.
I too have people in my family and friends who have conservative values to different degrees, right?
Yeah.
But they're already in my realm, right? And
Yeah.
so for me, love's unconditional. So if I love you, I love you. We're gonna fucking talk through shit. We're gonna get uncomfortable, whatever. Whereas it comes to people I don't know and who I don't have an established love with, if you're a new person coming into my life, you have to meet me here. You know, like there's certain things that are just non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And so that's where, again, I guess it is self-preservation, whatever it is, you know, I just don't have space to entertain anybody who doesn't have the same level of love I have for, you know, for myself and for the people in my
you
life.
value.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where I draw the line. Yeah.
Yeah, your baseline of safety, that's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
And it varies person to person based on your life experiences for sure. But like, I think everyone is also entitled to like make that discernment of what that baseline looks like based on where you're at in your life right now, right?
Yeah.
Because your needs can very well transform in the next 5 years, and something might change your perspective on that. Where, okay, my baseline used to be here, now I done elevated it here, right?
Yeah.
So like, also giving you the flexibility, like it doesn't have to be permanent. That's just where you're at right now. Like, yeah, for sure.
And not all relationships need to have permanence, right?
sure.
Like,
Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a lot of minds,
you
dog.
can enter at this stage
Yep.
and leave within the next and be completely fine. Part of trust for me looks like I trust that you will still be okay.
Yep.
That you left here better than you were before.
Yeah.
And
Go
like,
on, be great.
Yeah. and like I want to trust in your discernment too of knowing when it's time to move on.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like this can't just be my call all the time. Like, I mean, it will be if it has to, but it'd be
Yeah.
nice
Right.
if you also carry that knowing of like, okay, I think we did what we need to do here, and thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Be well.
Yeah.
Be well.
So far. Yo, we're coming up on time, but I did want to give you an opportunity. We've been talking about the foundation throughout the
Oh
episode,
my
alluding
gosh.
to it, but I want to talk about it now. I
This
want
mysterious
to, so
foundation.
tell us about it, and yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, so it's just a foundation called the IOANE Foundation. It stands for Inclusive Oceania Alliance for Native Empowerment. And it is really just our family's foundation. Our parents retired and were like, we have resources and we know people who have even more resources, and we want to give it to our people, and we want to hear what y'all have to say about it. And like that has to be a whole other conversation.
Right.
Like
Sure.
that's for another day of how we got to the
Look, we
point
can
of
have
our
you back.
parents.
I mean, we got 4 plus speaker siblings to get through, so I mean,
Okay,
listen.
this is a whole season that we're talking about, okay? But, you know, they really getting to the point of, you know, our parents just being like, what do we do with this? And looking to
Yeah.
us. And us, like it was my oldest sister Calais who was like, you know, all of us follow you already on like socials, and so we were familiar with your work to a certain extent. And by the time, you know, we have funding and we're like really starting, because it's a newer foundation too. It's like been within the last year.
But just to see Pacifica people go into philanthropy and move resources and
Yo.
everything like that, for me, when I heard of y'all, I was like, come through. Yes.
You know, I mean, and it's really a thing
Power
that
to
like
the people.
we follow like so many community organizers and so many Indigenous and Black content creators who are willing to share like what they know. And something that really sticks with us is like, okay, if you don't yourself have wealth, if you have proximity to wealth, siphon that shit, get it, bring it, spread it out. And so it's like we were given that opportunity. Our parents were like, here it is, and we're like, beautiful, like you spent your lives building this, and like we're just popping in right here being like, you know, but like that's the beautiful thing about it. We're like, we don't care if there's nothing left, like this is for the peoples. And because of all of the experience and the knowledge that we all have from our different, you know, walks of life, like we can make that sustainable and we can expand that. And Calais, you know, thinking of Crit immediately, being like, I know that he has projects going on, I know he has an organization, like let's reach out to him. And it was immediate. Calais, she did it, she was just like and then by the next time she's like, okay, yeah, so we're gonna meet with Crit. And I was like, great. That's awesome. And yeah, it's because, like I said before, I told you in person, I'll tell you now again, like it's work that you were doing. Like we started following you because you did a workshop at my sister's girlfriend's job. Like, you know what I mean?
And then moments,
and then she came home and was like, I met a Samoan today. It was a AAPI thing at her work, and Kira was like, hey, those AAPI things, you better gave her the whole spiel. It's like, it's always gonna be Asian, you know, the whole thing. So you should have a Pacifica person there, you know, AAPI month. So because of the work that you were doing, like then she came home and was like, I met an Islander today. And then we're like, look you up, and we're like, oh my gosh, we should totally follow Crit. And then we follow, and then, you know, however many years later, like we're in a position to be able to give back to somebody in a moment that we were like, hey, look at a person doing it. You know, look at this queer Islander doing it. And it's like, great, let's help.
But also, like, I mean, y'all all know y'all all know what I'm going through right now. It's like, they're really fucking saved me, you know, like that couldn't have come at a better time. And so again, that's why I have so much gratitude, because it's like at a time where I'm really fucking going through it. Like the universe fucking has this way of like really showing up for you, and it comes through all three of you sitting here, you know, like, and that's what community is about, you know. And it's like that light shows up, and it's able to sustain my light now, you know. And when I'm feeling like it's almost snuffed out, like that keep me going. So yeah, oh my gosh, I'm a fucking mess. But yeah, I just want to say thank you again.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Please, like it is such a privilege to be in that position, and like I appreciate your gratitude, and also like it's like, come on, like we it's what we want to do, is gonna happen, and we're gonna keep doing it. Like we're going to keep feeding you, like we're going to keep receiving from you, because like this is already so reciprocal, you know. Like I've known you for a month, and it's like, exactly, like these are the only kind of relationships that we're trying to bring in here, is like ones where we're like, you don't have it and we do, and we don't have it and you do, like, and it's just like, just hold each other. You know?
Oh gosh,
you can't spell community without unity.
Hello. Right. So we always sign off saying bye, host to the camera. But I mean, I do want to welcome. I mean, your siblings have come through.
Yes.
So I don't know if y'all want to jump in and just say a quick bye, host.
Want to join us for bye, host? You cannot spell community without unity. 1, 2, 3. Bye, host.